Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Allincrypto here, and today we are ecstatic to be bringing you some huge news involving the Algorand blockchain. This news has broke within the past 24 hours, and we're going to be diving into it in this video. It's to do with euros now being tokenized, and the platform that they've chosen to do this with is Algorand. So we're going to be getting into that in this video. We're also going to be recapping on other governments and central banks actually looking to use and utilize Algorand. It seems very much chosen in that field. And I want to start the video off by recapping on a video that we did nearly a month ago now, where we actually looked at Europe's banks using Algorand. And we went down a bit of a rabbit hole. One of the things we really looked at was the Bank of Italy and their partnership with the Algorand blockchain. The Bank of Italy chose Algorand to basically facilitate digital securities. Now, within the ECB, European Central Bank, within Europe, ECB is the central bank for Europe. They tasked various central banks of various countries within Europe to do different things. And one of the things that the Bank of Italy is tasked with is being the clearinghouse essentially for euros. So the fact that Algorand partnered with them was a bit of a clue. And literally within the past 24 hours, the Algorand Foundation broke the news, which we are now going to get into, and then we're going to do some recapping. We might even do a little bit of looking at the price. We will see. So euros are now on chain, powered by the Qantas EURD on Algorand. You can go over, and we are going to be going over to where it says learn more from the Algorand Foundation. But let's read the tweet to kind of introduce it. So Qantas has been licensed by the Dutch Central Bank as an electronic money institution, an EMI for short, paving the way to issue the first regulated programmable euro, the EURD, on the Algorand blockchain. This is monumental, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you Algorand holders are excited. By year end, EURD and its e-money services are expected to be accessible to all within the European Economic Zone. This innovative step means even those without traditional bank accounts can participate in the digital euro. EURD is more than a digital euro. It plays a pivotal role in enabling microtransactions and machine-to-machine payments. Imagine paying sensors for data or carrying out transactions between internet-connected devices. It says the EURD offers strong privacy, transaction fee coverage, ability to program money for increased efficiency and constant effectiveness. We know if the ECB are involved, it's likely, to monitor potentially what you're doing. That's kind of another way of saying it, perhaps. I don't know. It says a number of other things. It talks about Qantas co-founder highlights Algorand's capabilities. We can issue all the euros currently in circulation on Algorand and process thousands of transactions per second with instant finality. This is huge. Our global head then talks and says, we are gratified that a leading regulator in the heart of Europe has authorized the issuance of digital euros on Algorand. We look forward to working with Qantas on use case development and product rollout. This is huge. This is huge. We always knew this was coming. All currencies are going to be tokenized. However, the fact they're doing it on Algorand is pretty impressive and means great things for Algorand. I think Algorand has been a largely suppressed blockchain. Let me just give my view on Algorand very quickly. So right now in the crypto space, you see this move to be multi-chain, right, within ecosystems. And what I mean by that is have a central chain like Ethereum and layer 2s above it. And by the way, I think Polygon are going to come out with like layer 3s and do their own version of what they've done with Ethereum, but that's for another story. So most blockchains have tried to adopt a multi-chain like Polkadot, like Cardano with Ouroboros and what it was meant to do, a way where you have multiple blockchains, but it all comes under one umbrella. Whereas Algorand's kind of stuck to the roots of the crypto space and they've gone, let's just do everything on the layer 1 and make it scalable. You can, of course, run layer 2s on it and stuff like that. You have those capabilities, but they've solved a lot of the issues at the core layer 1 rather than relying on layer 2s, 3s, other blockchains that they can have under their umbrella to do it. And I think that's one reason I like Algorand, because they've really stuck to their grassroots. I like the multi-chain thesis. I think it's ingenious. However, Algorand really are probably one of the most impressive layer 1s, that layer 1 blockchains that there is, period. And it's no surprise that we saw Algorand get chosen for this task. Or, for example, when all the El Salvador news broke, nobody mentioned Algorand. They all mentioned Bitcoin. Bitcoin took the headlines. Well, actually, the El Salvadoran government looked to use Algorand for its infrastructure and for their platform. The Bank of Italy has chosen Algorand to be the very thing that they tokenize securities on. We forget about the Marshall Islands and their SOV, the pilot for their digital currency and CBDC. These are a few of the plethora of different partnerships that the Algorand blockchain has. Very impressive project, and I find it strange that the SEC went after Algorand, certainly when Gary Gensler was so close with Silvio. Silvio himself, we are writing a book on cryptos. Algorand is definitely 100 million bazillion % going to feature in it. 10 cryptos that are changing the world. I can't wait to release that for you guys. Algorand's definitely going to be a part. And looking back into Silvio and Algorand and its fundamental roots, it really does excite me. So let's explore this a little bit more. Let's go over to the official announcement from the Algorand Foundation. Qantas Payments announces the launch of a regulated and programmable euro on the Algorand network. This came out of the Netherlands and Singapore. Qantas Payments, a pioneer in the world of digital currencies and financial technology, has been licensed as an electronic money institution under the supervision of the Dutch Central Bank and permitted to issue its first regulated and programmable euro legal tender, the Euro D, on the Algorand blockchain. This is legal tender. This is shit. I don't think I'm being animated enough to really get across how big this is. This is more than one central bank within Europe using Algorand. I've got a smile on my face. I hope you guys have on the other end of the screens. So it is expected that by the end of the year, we've read parts of this. Following an extensive due diligence and technology review process, Algorand met all the requirements for issuing regulated digital euros on a public blockchain. From a capacity perspective, we can issue all the euros in current circulation on Algorand and process thousands of transactions per second with instant finality. This is a game changer. Developers interested in integrating EURD into their applications can leverage our API or use our open source payment app with no in-depth blockchain knowledge required. The Qantas team combines deep technological backgrounds with rich payment experience, and we congratulate them on achieving this milestone. Talks about a number of other things, talks about Qantas. I hope I'm saying that right, about the Algorand Foundation. This is absolutely monumental news. And again, I just really want to highlight this. This is not the first central bank to be using Algorand. This is not the first government to be utilizing Algorand. I can't believe just how much Algorand was left out of the press when it came to El Salvador. Yeah, they chose Bitcoin, they made Bitcoin legal tender, but actually they chose Algorand to build the infrastructure. And this is, we always say Bitcoin maxis are some of the most they've completely misunderstood distributed ledgers. They understand Bitcoin, but they don't understand that this technology has a wider scope. And they also don't understand that Bitcoin is exceptionally different and trying to do a completely different thing to what the likes of Algorand and these other sort of operating systems, you could call them a financial operating system, you could call them a general operating system. Not only are you going to have currencies on these systems, central currencies, you're going to have things like identity. You're going to have so many different things that are going to utilize blockchains, and some of the blockchains that we look at, like the public ones that we're talking about today, like Algorand. So it's very exciting. Of course, we know about the Marshall Islands. This gets forgotten. There's plenty more. You've got the Bank of Italy. For those of you that didn't watch my interview with John Wood, well worth the watch. We've had John Wood on, I think, 3 times now. Sure, we're going to have him on lots more in the future. So if you are an Algorand fan, do subscribe to the channel. We cover all blockchains on this. All the blockchains we think are worth covering anyway, we cover on this channel. But this is just monumental. And to round things on Algorand's price, not to sort of, this is a very fundamental video to why Algorand's great, but to round things off a little bit of price action, Algorand is the only or the largest position for me that's down. Algorand's not my largest position. If you want to find out what I'm buying and where, do consider becoming a patron. All our other positions pretty much are in the money except for a couple. Algorand happens to be one of those. I can't help but feel like Algorand has been massively suppressed. If you think about what it's doing, and you compare that with other layer ones, it's in terms of adoption and real world use cases, it's ahead by not all blockchains. Some are on par with it, some are maybe a little bit more excel, but it's doing very well, and its price just hasn't reflected that. And this is a classic case of Jeff Bezos talking about Amazon and saying, yeah, doesn't make much sense because the price is going like that, but the metrics of the company are going like that. And there is going to be a sort of fundamental day of reckoning at some point. Remember, crypto is still very speculative and risky in some cases. That's all I've got for you in this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, a like is appreciated. So as a comment, don't forget to subscribe. Go and check out our website, allincrypto.com. Follow us on Twitter at RealAllinCrypto. We do also have a podcast. Just type in All in Crypto and it will come up. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next.